Well, all, we're in the house. And that's because it's been raining all day off and on. Really haven't been able to do a whole lot here at Deep South Bama. But we decided to come on in, start cooking up a dish to have with our supper later on this evening. And I thought, while I was doing it, I might try to make a video of it. It'll be my very first cooking video. Sort of groundbreaking, history making even. So if you'd like to, pull up a chair, sit with us, watch us go through with it. It's going to be tasty, so stay with us. Okay, let's take you over here to the counter and see what we got. And I've got everything laid out we're going to need for this particular dish. And it's going to be cooked in the oven. And we're going to be cooking it in a casserole dish. So what you're going to need, approximately 4 or 5 squash. I'll show you how to judge how many of those as we go through this. You're going to need you an onion, head of garlic, some sweet cream, salted butter. You're going to need you some black pepper, some dill weed, some thyme, and of course our secret ingredient, Slap Your Mama. And another thing we use that you might not be familiar with, and that is cured salt pork. If you don't have cured salt pork, can't find it, bacon will work just as well. And you're going to need a casserole dish. And that's pretty much all you're going to need. It's just that simple. So what we've got to do now is we've got to go ahead and wash up these squash. Oh, we also had a garlic chive we pulled up. We just throw it in there for some color. But we're going to have to get this squash cleaned up, washed up, and then we'll start preparing the squash. And I'll show you how to judge just how much you're going to be needing for this particular dish. Okay, now off camera, I went ahead and decided to wash up squash. Seriously, don't think you need to watch me washing up squash. Surely you know how. Just give it a little light scrub under running water, throw it on some paper towels to drain. So we're going to start by preparing our squash. And we'll start with that larger yellow squash, and I'll show you why in a minute. And we're going to use a large chef knife. Now, I've had this knife for over 45 years. First knife I ever bought. I believe at one time it was an old hickory, but it's rather wore down. So we're going to take this nice large one, and we're going to cut off the stem end. We're going to go ahead and cut off the blossom end. Okay. We're going to go ahead and cut that neck off for now. We'll come back to it. Now the bulb of the squash, we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut it in half. Then right down through the middle of the seed cavity, we're going to cut it in half again. Right down the middle of the seed cavity. Now I'm not much into eating the seeds when they get to this size. You might say, well, I should have picked them a little bit smaller. Well, the reason I let them grow this size is they have a whole different flavor than they do when they're in the immature, smaller size. And it's more of a nutty flavor. And what we're going to do, we'll take our knife, we're just going to go ahead and cut those seeds right out of the center. Make sure we get them all. I'm just going to put it on the counter for now. We'll clean that up later. Now some people might say you could use a spoon on this. I'm here to tell you that is not going to work. But you just want to get them all out of there. Best you can. If you leave a few, it's going to be no big deal. Okay? Now if it's giving you a real hard time, like that one did, just give it another cut. Right down the center again. Makes it a lot easier. And I really didn't think about that at the time. Just watch where your knife goes. Try to get right under that seed cavity. You'll see. Pretty much got that one. Take another piece here. Watch what we're doing. We'll run right underneath it. And there we have it. I think I'll go ahead and cut this one in half so I can get out this last little bit. Same way on this piece. There we have them. We'll do the same on these. Right down the center. Definitely going to make it easier, of course. And it will make a difference when we're chopping these up to go in the casserole dish later. We got that one. Got that one. Give this one an old chop. Now on the smaller ones, like this one and this one, I probably won't go through all the effort. This rather old one here, those seeds are going to be rather tough. I didn't want to eat them. But there's nothing wrong with the flesh. Especially since we're going to be baking this in a 350-degree oven. Similar to what you do with a winter squash when they're this size. Like I say, when you let them mature some, they have a whole different unique flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of them up. We'll come back when I show you how to determine just how many you need. Okay? Because what we're going to do, and I'll just do it right now. I'm just going to take these and we're going to give them a chop. It's got to be perfect. 3/4 to an inch long. And so we don't cut and clean more than we need. We just use the casserole dish. We just fill it as we're cutting to know exactly how many we're going to need. Yeah, like I said, we'll come back, use the neck, go ahead and slice it up. And you can make your pieces of squash any size you want. I prefer them about this size. But if you just want to cut them in half, that's up to you. If you want to slice them into thinner slices, that'll work too. But I'll go ahead and get these others cleaned out and cut up, and I'll come back when we're through. Okay, off camera, after I got those squash cut up, you can see them over in the bowl. You can see why I use the dish I'm going to prepare it in. Lets me know how many I need to cut up. That way I don't cut up too many or too few. Now we've got to slice up these onions. There's 3 cloves of garlic here, and this is 1 medium onion. We're going to give it a quick slice, throw it on in there. We'll give the rings a little bit of a break up. We'll mix all this up. Break up the rings some. Put it on in there. Looks like we're going to be just about right. Because this will cook down. It's in the oven. Get it all on in there. Going to give our garlic a quick chop. And try to use fresh garlic. Don't use that pickled garlic. Comes in a jar. I mean, really. And if you don't want to do that, might as well just break out the garlic powder and be done with it. You're not going to get the same flavor just chopping up your own fresh garlic. There we have it. And like I say, we're going to give this a good mix when we add the spices. Now I'm actually going to transfer this to another bowl, because I also use my casserole bowl for another very special thing, and I'll show you that when we come back. Okay, as you can see, we transferred the squash and onions and garlic to another bowl. The reason for that is we've got the oven heated up to 350 degrees, and we're going to start cooking our salt pork in our casserole dish. That way we don't have another frying pan or another pot to clean. I'm all about cutting down on the amount of dishes that I have to clean when I'm preparing a meal. And like I say, if you don't have salt pork, you can use bacon. I've done it both ways. I just found this over at the local grocery store. Thought it would be good. And if you take a look at it, you'll actually see it looks a lot like bacon. Comes from the same part. Belly of the pig. Just going to lay some slices in there. About 4 should be enough. Now I'm going to give my hands a little quick wash and we'll go ahead and throw this in the oven. Okay, we went ahead and put the casserole dish in the oven. Got it cooking. Now we have it set at 350 to cook the main dish, so it's going to take a little bit. We checked it at 20 minutes, it wasn't quite done, so we gave it another 10 minutes. Should be coming out here in just a sec. But once it is, show you what it looks like, and we'll start putting this all together. Mixing it up with the salt pork, the spices, give it a quick toss, get it back in the oven again. And there it is right now. It's ready. So there you have it. There's the salt cured pork straight out of the oven. Still see it sizzling a little bit. We're going to let it cool for a minute. We're going to chop it up. We're going to add it in with our squash and onions and garlic. And then we'll be adding in the spices. Give it all a quick mix. Get it back in the casserole and back in the oven. Okay, we've transferred the cured salt pork that we had cooking in the casserole dish. I'm going to give it a quick chop. Just cut it up 1/4 inch slices. It'll be fine. Then give it a quick cross cut. You wind up with little 1/4 inch cubes. Again, don't have to be perfect. That is tasty. We're just going to dump it on in on the vegetables, squash, onion, and garlic. Do a little spread there. And now we're going to start adding the spices. Get our trusty measuring spoon set. And we got the thyme leaves here, not ground thyme. We're going to take a teaspoon of that. Sprinkle it in. We're going to take our dill weed right here. Take a teaspoon of that. Now, since the Slap Your Mama has some black pepper in it, and you can always put some more on. Can't take more out. We're only going to go with a quarter of a teaspoon, I think. I got a half teaspoon here. I think I'm going to back off that a little bit. Put that back. And to slap your mama, that's already got some salt, red pepper, black pepper, and garlic in it. It'll just give it a little bit of spice. We're going to put in a half teaspoon of that. And now what we have to do is get just a little bit of olive oil, sprinkle on top. Okay, I went ahead and got some extra virgin olive oil out of the cupboard. Just going to drizzle some here on the top. We'll say about a tablespoon. Okay? A little bit more, a little bit less, it's going to matter. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to turn the water on. We're about to get nasty. Now what we got to do is we got to mix it all up. We're just going to use our hands. Yes, we did wash them. We're going to mix up all the spices, salt pork in there. Get it all nice and coated. Yep. Some hit the floor. And then we're going to add it back to our casserole dish. Pack it in there a little bit. Now I've got to wash up my hands. Okay, we got our hands all washed. We're going to go ahead and stick this on the oven. That's a 350 degree preheated oven. Okay. Now you might wonder, when do these come in? We'll show you. That's not for now. So there you have it. It's ready to go in the oven. And we're going to check it in 30 minutes at 350. What we're checking for is how tender the squash is. And we'll make a decision then whether we're going to leave it in another 15 minutes or so. So we'll be back. Okay, it just finished up. We checked it at 30 minutes. And the squash was still just a little bit too crisp. So we gave it an extra 20 minutes. Now you might think you're baking this because you got it in the oven, but you're actually steaming it in its own juices. And steaming your veggies is probably the best way to cook them, other than eating them raw. So what we have here, as you can see all the steam wafting off of it, are steamed squash, onions, and zucchini. Now, remember the garlic chives? We're going to take them and we're just going to sprinkle them along the top. For a nice garnish. So there you have it. So what you wind up with is steamed yellow summer squash, onions, some garlic, and we threw zucchini in there for color, and then topped it with the garlic chives. We'll give it a taste here, let you know how it came out. So we put a spoonful here on a paper plate, cool off a little bit. We're going to give it a try. Oh, they did come out tasty. By steaming the squash in the casserole in the oven, the squash is still somewhat crispy. So are the onions. Garlic chives give it just a little bit more of that garlic taste. This is really an enjoyable dish. We're going to have it today. It's going to complement a couple of leftovers we have. So that's why I wanted to make something fresh. Plus I had to use up something from the garden. If you watch my videos, you know how many vegetables I have for just one little old man. And we're going to pair it tonight with some leftover baked chicken, some cream mashed potatoes, a little bit of garlic bread. So there you have it. Some yellow squash, some zucchini, yellow onion, some garlic, and the spices that we told you. Looks really nice. We're going to start dishing up our dinner. Appreciate y'all stopping by tonight, watching the video. I do hope you'll try this, and as always, remember, if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Got that little bitty bell hit. Until next time, folks. Y'all take care out there. Stay safe. God bless you. Bye for now.